Well, Lynn, Helen, Kathy, Stephen, Chuck, Bill, Larry, Frank are here. We expect Tom. Couple of announcements. Well, from one from me, but I've handed out a new meeting code that will go into effect at the very next meeting on July 2nd. I don't know if you all remember, but 6 months ago, there was a bunch of confusion about why people at home couldn't get on the meeting. And as it turned out, it was because I'd forgotten to extend the meeting dates to those dates. And so this was to make sure that didn't happen. And I still keep my fingers crossed about the first code. But if you are at home and you cannot use that code, call me. During the meeting, call me and we'll get it fixed. So, does anybody else have an announcement? Frank?
Yeah, I just noticed that looking at our listing of subjects coming up, we've got 6 more, and then we run out. So I'm just gonna ask, anybody interested in participating in establishing the next group from like September 3rd? We usually go at least to the end of the year. So if you're interested, just email me. And then, because I know Bob did it last time. So.
I always have great ideas until you ask, and then I can't remember what they were.
Well, if you've got some great ideas, just give them and we'll slip them in.
Yeah.
Instead of what's on that list we've been using.
Need to write it down from the beginning. So, okay, Bill.
Nothing.
Okay. That was quick. The list of photos, I've tried to tell people what order they're going to be in, but there were a couple of things this time that caused me to juggle the list. I had Bob down, but we knew he probably would be gone today, but still I got photos, so we'll keep his till next time. And then the rest of the group is Larry, Lynn, Bill, Frank, Chuck, Tom, Helen, Kathy. So, see if I can make this work. Doing this a different way.
That's fine.
Well, that was a little easier than sometimes. Get rid of this floating stuff. All right, this one is Larry. I'm sorry, is Bob and Bob. And I made yet another mistake last time and didn't get Larry's photos up. So these are from the last challenge, with apologies again, Larry, for not keep.
Well, it seems like Stephen and I follow each other around. So it's good that it was 2 weeks apart, because Stephen had that whole section on the sundial up at the UNC campus. One of the most difficult things about shooting this was finding a place to park. That's a crazy place to park up there. Anyway, so this is the sundial, 31 feet in diameter. Stephen's already talked to you about that.
Yeah, his was of the full thing, and this gives you another interesting
Almost at
perspective.
high noon, as you can see. I went with my wife because it was very sunny that day, and it was overcast before, so it was perfect weather for a sundial.
Right. Was it accurate? Because when Bill and I went, it was awful.
Oh, I did an adjustment, I just made it, it's still pinging.
Yeah, we tried turning it.
Every clock, broken clock is right twice a day, man.
That's right.
Nice shot, Larry.
Nice and clear.
Well,
Yeah.
there were cars in the back, as
Yeah.
Stephen pointed out, so I thought the most important thing was the dial itself rather than the device.
Right.
So I cropped all those out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the crop.
Yeah.
Right up in the. Yeah, I wondered about that,
Yeah,
that walkway, yeah, that little teeny bit.
right.
Yeah,
Just part of
good
it.
catch, I didn't see that. I was just glad it was in focus.
Another feeling.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, oh, wow.
That is a clock tower. And it's on the campus of Furman College in Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful campus, and the lake goes for a long, it's a small campus, it's about 2,500 student liberal arts, college, and, they have this just gorgeous, park that surrounds the campus. I think last time I took a picture of a black swan that was floating in that was basking in the lake, and I showed it here, I believe. But this was my clock. Looks a little like the Leaning Tower.
I was just.
Is that lens installed or leaning, or is it
No.
that's lens position, or is it actually leaning?
No,
No,
I was leaning.
Okay. It's interesting, because you'd think if you were leaning, the whole lake would be.
Right,
Right.
I could have adjusted it, I suppose, a little bit.
It's a great picture, Larry.
It is. Nice sky, I love the sky in that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day for hiking. I went with my, my brother-in-law. He comes up here all the time to go hiking. It's about 40 minutes from where he lives.
Yeah. Well, this is really picky, but somebody already started being picky. What would it look if you cropped it with the tower somewhere off on the third?
Yeah, that would look good too.
Yeah,
Because you would still get the trees and the sky in there.
yeah.
But it looks almost like it's HDR, did you do multiple exposures or
No.
anything? It's, the light is fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all luck.
No, it really does look
Skyline.
different,
Yeah, I think the clouds focus the light behind the tower for you.
yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
All right, and now to today's photos. Staying with Larry.
So this is a little church in Sayulita, Mexico, and I cropped it in as much as I could. It's a very small church, but it looked rural enough and interesting enough to take the doors and window challenges.
You got a nice balance on the door and the two windows on each
I
side.
really
Yep.
cropped it down.
Yep.
And where in Mexico?
This is a little village north of Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, okay.
Cool place from all the other pictures.
Do you know how old that is?
No, I don't.
Oh,
And this is a window shot from where we were staying, actually, in this house. Well, it's more than a house, it was a compound, but we were staying there. And, I just like the fact that the señorita on the left,
Yeah.
I like to capture that. And then you can see on top the beams of the roof out, so that kind of like, you know,
I was trying to figure out what she was holding, but it's,
she's holding flowers.
yeah.
the light on that one again is
Yeah.
outstanding.
What's good about an image like this, where it seems like it might be tilted a little bit, you have to realize it's Mexico.
That's right.
Well, is that a comment on the culture or the comment on how many tequila sunrises you've had?
But you can see
It's the culture.
it was daylight from the sun, so you could just see.
Cause across the top with the
Yeah,
ends looks perfectly straight.
yeah, that's
Everything else.
I know.
Well, it's nice that it wouldn't be the picture it is if the señorita was not
Yeah.
fully in the sun, so.
Is that a representation of the Virgin, or is it like a
You know,
saint or
we didn't know.
non-religious? Or that's
No,
interesting.
we didn't know that.
Yeah,
In this complex, they had these type of indentations in the wall, you know, it's all stucco and they had different things in them, some birds, it was just fascinating.
there's even a bird behind her.
Right,
Really cool.
yeah.
Again, everything is in focus, everything, and everything is well exposed.
You
Mhm.
use an aperture to keep the depth of
You
field.
know, I didn't write it down, I'm sorry.
Whatever you did was good.
You've really made me want to go to this place, Larry. But the getting there, I guess, is the problem.
Pepper plants in front of me.
No, it looks like pepper plants, but it's not, it just, the leaves are red. I don't know what plant that is.
So, okay, so if I don't think that was where I was getting to, how did you get these tiny plants with this? If they're pepper plants, then she would be about a foot tall.
Right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
All right, Lynn is up next.
Oh, that's mine.
Oh, it is too, Larry. I'm sorry.
This is from the archive. But I just love this picture. I just discovered it in an old series of pictures that I took. It looks like, to me, it looks like somewhere like Amsterdam. But it's actually in Brooklyn, New York. And it's from
New Amsterdam.
It's very new Amsterdam. And this is from my daughter's apartment when she lived on Parkside Avenue in Brooklyn, a block from Prospect Park. And
Okay.
so I captured the buildings, but I also wanted to capture a little bit of her studio, which was right in front of it. She's an art student at that time, so. That's windows and doors.
So you're right, though, with the 4 floors, it does remind me of Amsterdam. The only thing missing is that big hook they put on the above the
Get the
top.
furniture up and down.
Yeah.
Right.
Have we ever done a challenge on through a window, through a door, where you're shooting through something like this?
I think so.
I think so.
We just
Go
did
back and
that.
look at the list and see if we did.
Yeah,
We did.
Recently.
I can't remember. But
Okay,
nice memory,
A part of
Larry.
her materials are in the front of the window.
If we did do it, it's been a while, so we could put it back in the rotation.
Yeah.
Get that reverse section cut.
Yeah, Brooklyn is a kind of interesting place because it's full of different things like this. You know, these buildings were built probably in the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And
It kept up well.
and some of them are individually owned. In other words, they're not rented apartments like hers was.
All right, now Lynn.
So apologies for not taking correct pictures. This was in Croatia. And I think still showing, a lot of places there were showing damage from the war. Which is what appealed to me about it, but anyway.
Which has not stopped people from living in them.
Didn't what?
Which is not, the fact that there's destruction is not stopping them from living in them.
No, I guess, do you think somebody lived in there? I don't know, there was a farmer just to the left, but, This was F-16, 1/200th of a second, 67 millimeters, ISO 1600.
Nice sky. Branch in the upper left-hand corner looks nice.
There's some intended windows and some unintended ones. And skylights.
Now, Lynn, what are those things in the front, like on the
I
left?
think they're like oil drums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they look
fuel
like tanks or
probably.
something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diesel.
But I like the color of those,
Yeah.
balancing against the blue of the sky. And
Knowing that's Croatia, that picture tells a story.
As does this one, I think.
Nice.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't know where this was, sad to say. That's a garage door.
Think Barcelona. I think it was on that trip.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, 1/800th of a second, I think you're right. F5.6, 27 millimeters, ISO 1600, but there was a lot of graffiti around, some of it really very artistic. This not so much. But
Well, wherever it was, there was a guide, and there were all these storefronts like this that had security doors on them, and there is really good art on a lot of them to discourage people from putting graffiti up, and this one didn't make it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Who's that guy that does graffiti art, very famous? Banksy. Banksy.
There's a whole museum in Miami, with graffiti art there, it's amazing. Most of it's outdoors. If you ever get down there, Brooklyn Avenue, it's a good place to go.
There's a guy on Flickr, Michael C. Plus, and his photo stream is almost all graffiti, but really good art among it. So, all right, Bill's up.
I had a couple hours to burn. Couple hours to burn last week, and I went and Googled abandoned stuff near me.
Oh, did you?
And what I found is there's this thing called Coleridge, North Carolina, which is in Randolph County. It's about a 40-minute drive.
Okay.
And this was it's a historic district that is now abandoned, but it was the mills for creating, I guess, wool and this particular building here was actually the power plant. It was a hydropower. So there's a river that comes behind it, it goes in, and it powers just that little area for the loons and some of the people that lived around it. I turned it to black and white because all the colors were kind of brownish and it was kind of bland. So I decided to just go with the black and white with it, since it is old and abandoned, and I thought black and white probably did more justice.
Yeah.
Choice.
Yeah, I like
And sitting over here, Bill, I was looking at just to the right of the doorway, that tree. There's a reflection from outside our windows that makes it look green from over here. And I thought, well, why did you leave that one thing green? But it's right spot on that tree.
Yeah, and that
That
was
could-
interesting too, was the brickwork on the very top,
Yeah.
where it seemed like every place else was just standard brick, the way they,
Yeah.
so I cropped it right along there because it just started to be regular brick above it as well. And I had originally shot it at 24 millimeters, so it was a much wider shot.
Yeah.
But I started just working it in a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a 24 millimeter, let's see, I think it was an f8, probably 1/25th of a second. And ISO was probably anywhere between 64 and 110. That's where all of them were.
What's the name of the manufacturing company?
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Interesting punctuation on the MFG.
Yeah.
It's a great name for the picture, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this was
There's
actually,
irony with it, this,
yeah, this was all built back in the 1800s, and it was actually a doctor from Siler City that started this whole thing. And they had the hydro plant there, they had the mill there, they put up their own school, they had their own bank, and they had their own company store.
Wow.
And now there's nothing here?
Well,
Except abandoned buildings?
It's still, some of the buildings are still there, but there's a lot of fencing that you can't get everywhere. But I got to quite a bit of places.
Were you using a tripod?
No. Yeah, because I was at 24 millimeter, 1/25 of a second, it was just fine.
You can correct in columns on that thing.
No.
Remember that door, people. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, this was another one where everything tended to be brown, because even the door was brown.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've all seen brick buildings. So what I decided to do is to, again, turn it into black and white. And this one I particularly shot at the, let's see, F14, because I wanted to get everything in focus from the front door there down to the newer door in the back, and the window and the steps.
Was this in that same town?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Was there anyone else there, or you had it for yourself?
I had it for myself. Yeah, and that front door there where it was the old type that used to slide back and forth. And you can even see where the wall was probably filled in to the right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there was no real road that went up to there. But the other portion of the building must have been either built later or they put the door in later. That looked like it was more for trucks and even things like forklifts or something like that.
It's like a loading dock.
Yeah, there was some, you can see where some part of that doorway has been moved, I mean, bricked in.
So I thought it was interesting because it showed an evolution of that building where, you know, back in the 1800s, it was probably door on the right, and then as time went on.
They modernized and put that new door.
And actually, in this building too, and I didn't take an image of it, it's a couple stories tall, and they have like Roman structures on the top. And it even mentioned in the bio of the whole town is that it was a Romanist,
Okay.
yeah,
Did you get into it? Was it-
no, you couldn't get into it.
It was locked up.
All right.
Nice.
This was Bill's as well.
Then, this I just did, this is the company store. So after they made all their money, they go to the company store, just like that old Tennessee Ernie, 16 tons.
I owe my soul
Same,
to the company store.
same name, Enterprise.
Yeah,
Well, there's another person, I can't say who it is offhand, on Flickr, that does ghost signs, which is this sort of thing on old buildings, where the old sign is still there.
yeah, I decided to leave this in here just to show the coloring, that it's actually kind of
Right.
bland. And plus I was there kind of at high noon too, which was no cakewalk.
Yeah.
But, this one I took at, I think it was like F5, 160th of a second, because it was flat, so I didn't need any depth of field. And I just shot at the higher speed and lower ISO.
Good set, Bill.
Yeah, it's an interesting place to walk around and,
Obviously, they sold
Is this
Coca-Cola.
coastal side of the city? Is it
It's
Chatham County or Randolph or?
Randolph.
Randolph, okay.
Just go past Siler City,
Yeah,
and then there's a road that you go south and
okay.
you end up hitting it.
I got,
Wow, that's nice.
I'm really struck by, look in the first picture, you know, if the name of the store was, Phillips Hardware or something, would have been not a picture.
Yeah.
And it's the content of it in a way rather than the visuals of it. And it was striking to me that I maybe have too much of a tendency to be worried about the visuals and not worrying about, the content that could really sort of, hit you upside the head is something that's important.
Because the way they had that MFG on that sign on the first image, I've tried to look into the history, see if each one of those letters might have meant something,
Right.
but they didn't.
No.
All right. Frank is up.
It's like a great place.
Love this one, Frank.
This,
One I wish I'd taken.
I was at a wedding in Nashville, and that morning we went out for a walk, and it was a bright sunny day. And this was on the main street in Nashville, and I saw this, looked up at this building, and I just liked the reflection of that clock tower and the buildings across the street in it. So I took it, figured, well, I'm gonna use it for this. I probably could have used it for a clock too, but because it is a clock tower. But this was taken, it was at a 200th of a second, and it was f/16 ISO 100, and it was 42 millimeters. And the only processing, it came out pretty much exactly as I wanted. I just increased the clarity a little bit, the texture, and then cropped it and put a border on it. That was it.
Yeah, border helps too.
Yeah, and I finally learned how to play around with doing color borders. I watched a video on it, and I kept coming back, I like the white better. So,
Colors are gorgeous.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
oh, it was a beautiful building, but like I said, I did crop it just to get the reflection that was on there.
Yeah.
And I did dehaze it a little bit, because it was very sunny, and the reflection off it, that kind of took some out of it, the glare coming off of the windows.
Well, and there is no rule. This one,
Yeah.
I mean, you could have, I think you would have messed it up if you try to get those horizontal lines absolutely
Right,
horizontal.
right.
I mean, it adds to the picture.
Colors almost make it organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great place to, I've never been to Nashville before. It's a great place to walk around the streets and, with your camera. There's a lot of great opportunities down there, or out there, rather. And
Yeah, no
this,
kidding.
This was taken last week, I don't know if you've ever seen this place, but in Carborough, on West Franklin Street, there's a restaurant, but the wall is just all these doors and windows that they use as a block to put up there.
Is that at Al's Burgers?
No, I don't think it's Al's Burger, well, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is. I didn't, so I was in Jiffy Lube at the time, and I saw it, and I just walked over and took this shot. I wanted to get as much of that panel in as I could. I could have done some, vertical ones and maybe just a door and a window, but I liked the fact that you had pretty much three doorways, and then two windows in between them. And on this one, besides putting the border in again, this was 320th of a second, f/7.1, again, it was ISO 100, it was a bright day, and 106 millimeter. And again, the only cropping I did was I took some from the top and some from the bottom, because there was a lot of things down there that would have ruined it, so I took those out. Now it became a panorama. And again, I increased the texture because I wanted those doors to come out, and the clarity, and then the border, and that was it.
Frank, I would print this as big as you can print it. There are
Yeah.
people out there that would buy this.
It's really nice.
You are kidding.
No, it's good, thanks. That'd be something, maybe I'll try that. Yeah.
Well, it would look good in the size that it is up on the monitor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, I'm impressed that you were running the chore, going to get your oil change, but you had your big camera with you.
Sometimes I just carry it with me, 'cause I never know. Because I thought I might have to leave the car there and then go for a walk around Franklin Street.
Yeah.
And I saw it across the street. I said, oh, we'll go over there.
That's great.
And I was happy the way it
That
turned out.
might be Al's, because Al is in that neighborhood, right by the Jiffy Lube there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of your best, Frank.
Oh, thanks.
Carver,
I'm sorry?
yeah.
In Scarborough, as you're coming out of Chapel Hill into Carrboro.
Yeah.
It's right there, as you're going to Carrboro, it's right on the right.
It's like between Maine
I guess
and
what's
Roosevelt.
Yeah,
striking me
yeah.
is that's, I'm there all the time, and I've never noticed that. Which says something about, that's one of the things I really like about having a camera, is I see things when I'm with a camera
Right.
that I don't.
It's, you're right there, and you know, and you say, oh, I wish I had it.
Very nice.
Sometimes we just have to get
Yeah,
out
but
of
it's
our
really
cars.
fascinating. It's a really interesting shot.
It really is.
It's really cool.
I like all of the different colors.
Yeah, oh, it was great, because you had the blues on the door, the reds through the window, where the,
Yeah.
Very nice.
and the wood was just old enough that it, you know, had that nice texture on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, good one. Chuck's up.
No, I guess I don't know why it's, okay, thanks. So, this is a building that's on the, on the east side of town, and, I go over that way to drop my dog off, for daycare sometimes. And, it's, you know, as you're headed out 64 Business, I don't know if you may not have seen it, because as you're heading out of town, it would be behind you. But it's on the left as you're headed east to get on 64.
Right by the
Anyway,
pet stop?
I'm sorry.
Right by the pet shop?
No, past that. So
Okay.
this is like, you know where they have that water processing plant out there?
Yeah.
So it's just past that as you're heading
That's
east.
a new building.
It's a new building, and so I titled this one, in my email to Mike, I just titled it, "Build it and they will come?" ? Because I've watched it, it's been, I don't know, it's been over a year that it's being built. It's been finished for quite some time now, and it's totally empty, and it's office space with warehouse space, so either they've got some specific purpose in mind, or they're waiting for customers, but anyway, I had an idea that I thought, just thinking about windows, and I knew that as I was driving my dog over there recently, I was like, yeah, that's facing east, and it might look really cool if I went there like near sunrise. And so I did that, and then as I got there, I realized, well, the lighting on the building kind of messes it up. I was hoping for more reflection in the windows, but it still, I thought, was an interesting perspective, so I just snapped a few pics, and this one, I was using an ISO of 800, 27 millimeters, f8 at a 13th of a second, and just, you know, handheld.
A 13?
Yeah, 13, I don't know why, I was using my light, I knew I wanted f8, and I figured, you know, 800 would be about the right ISO. I didn't want it too, but if I used my tripod, I could have done 100 ISO maybe, and then done a longer exposure, but I was kind of in a hurry, I didn't want to get my tripod out. So anyway, 13th of a second is, I think I just backed into it from watching the exposure meter on my camera, as I had the other two settings where I thought they would be good.
I'm just
Well-
impressed that anybody can hold a camera still.
Right.
Well, it's my
Vibration.
wide, yeah, it's like it's a 18 millimeter, but you know, with the crop lens, with the crop sensor, it brings it to that 27. But so yeah, you can do that if you do a 27th of a second. You can handheld hold it by adding a 1 over top of it. Typically, the way with hand holding, if you put a 1 over top the focal length.
Was that building brand new?
Yes, brand new.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no storefront names, nothing on it?
No, it's intended to be, like, what you can't see is the building behind it, it extends for quite a ways, and it's warehouse space, so it's intended to be, since it's so close to 64, it's obvious it'd be for smaller businesses that need warehouse space, but they want an office too. So it's kind of a very specific building purpose.
You certainly got it at the right time. Nothing-
Yeah,
This guy was nice, you know.
yeah, and the light's coming off the doorways. And I tell you what I would do with this, Chuck. Put a note on the door.
Push delete? No, I'm kidding.
No, put it on the door that you have a photo of the building that you would like to share with them. and then sell it to them.
And then sell it to them, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Will be our future.
Didn't you do that
building.
with a bridge? Didn't you do that with a bridge or something?
I'm sorry?
I thought you did that with a bridge, they bought some,
Yeah, that was off of Flickr, and they found the bridge at downtown Dallas, Trinity River, and the guy that was running the construction company, 5 years to build. They were going into a new reception area, and they wanted a print, and I got a huge sum of money for it. $25, but it was worth it to see it at 5x4, something like that behind. They said that it was the first time they'd ever seen that bridge in snow, but it wasn't snow, it was high noon in August and it was infrared. So anyway, this is a great shot.
Just a note on processing. What I do most of the time now, I have elements, Photoshop elements. So I open it in the editor. And,
I'm gonna stop at U-Haul and
in
go
RAW.
back.
And then I just do the auto. I just click the auto key to see what it does. And
I will.
then if I like how it looks, I look at the histogram. Thanks, Bill. And see what it does, and then I might tweak it here and there, but it's a pretty sensible adjustment typically, and then I will maybe do a dehaze on it too, or I'll go into enhance if I need to or something like that. And I did play with straightening on this a little bit because there's some camera distortion. There's also the parking lot's angled away, so I took a point on the horizon. I think it's a degree or two rotated, but any more than that, it didn't look right. So anyway.
No, I just like the way it pulls your eye
Yeah.
right down to
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, the leading lines work with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fairly boring subject, but anyway, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite haunts to look for images. It's Town Lake Park, and it's the former reservoir for Pittsburgh before we started pulling water from the Haw River. So this is Ropes Creek, and anyway, that's the pump house. And I had an idea about, I was just watching some landscape stuff on B&H. I think it was probably Thomas Heath. I really like this stuff. Anyway, I got inspired to use a reflection, and I've been thinking about trying to photograph this thing for a while, for a few years, and so what I want to do here is photograph it at the blue hour lighting, and then have an amber light source like that I set up inside that side of it to get that nice contrast. And of course, the one thing that really kind of messes up the original idea is that I always forget there's street lights there, so it adds a different light source. And I had to work with positioning my camera so I could try to block out that light. And I've got several other images where the light bulb itself is in there and it's too bright to try taking it out. But anyway, I was relatively pleased with the result, but I didn't do a lot of processing. It looks kind of tweaked on the color, but that's just the way the bricks looked at that hour, and it's a crop. I cropped in a bit on it. I tried different things, and anyway, so I called this, entropic entry, because it's full of graffiti, and I also went there. I thought going there early in the morning would be better than going in the evening, because evil doers are likely to be hanging around there in the evening, but they won't be getting up early in the morning.
Well, the color in this just blows my mind.
The light against the actual pump house itself.
Yeah.
I guess that's what appeals to me too, just all the different elements of the color and that light field behind it. And I did, as I was sitting in my car, waiting for the light to be right, I got there, in enough time, I saw this massive buck deer just wandering around there, and he, I don't know if I know how to count points right, but I think it was a 16-point.
Wow.
It was huge. I've never seen in North Carolina a deer that big in North Carolina. Anyway.
Well, two really good shots, Chuck.
Yeah,
Thanks.
all of it, that one.
I often, kind of envious, despairing when I see your pictures, because you are able to see things that I would never imagine seeing. I mean, if I could pass that 100 times, that's kind of a shack over there. Okay.
Well, thanks, Steve, thank you for that.
But no, I mean, your ability to sort of image something in your mind and then, turn that into a photograph.
Well, there was another building over there that, I used, I don't know, for a challenge some time ago, and it was, kind of interesting. It was when it had a bunch of trees overgrowing the building. Well, that building's gone now, so now I have an incentive to take pictures, because that's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
They're gonna tear it down sometime
A
soon.
lot of landscape photographers often say, if you find something of some kind of interest, go back there frequently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go during different seasons, go during different lights. You
Right.
know, go in good weather and bad weather, because it's constantly changing.
Yeah, that's definitely, and it's like, it's close, it's like, I can walk there with my dogs from my house, so I do frequently, and so I'm always like looking at it and
Yeah.
seeing how it, like, just like Bill said, how it looks in different conditions.
I do like how you kept that light bulb out of it, that you got that glow
Yeah.
coming out of that door.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, well, is that natural light, or,
Yeah.
what is that, yeah.
What else did you find in there, Chuck? I can't
I mean,
imagine.
it just looks like a place where kids go to party, and,
Yeah.
there's a parking lot, Town Lake Park has two entrances. One entrance is off of, like, right across the street from Horton Middle School. It's called Diane Street, and you take that all the way back, and as you're going back in there, it's the town yard. That's what they're using that's what you have mulch, and, they're, so they keep the new garbage cans for people who, need them, and it's the town yard. And then if you follow it around, there's a couple interesting houses, but there's this little, maybe 3 or 4 car parking lot, and then there's a bridge that's becoming increasingly decrepit and probably not so safe to walk on. I don't know if they're gonna fix that or not, but it's a town park, there's a sign up there, that it is a park.
Yeah.
And then there's the other entrance off of, the 902 bypass, which is, if you went to Al's Diner, and then
Okay, yeah.
and then came back around to 15501. There's an entrance there, and that's a much larger parking lot, there's playing fields there.
All right.
That is
Yeah,
beautiful.
restaurant right across from Al's.
Oh, yes,
That's
yeah,
pretty good.
I haven't done that, yeah.
Wonderful.
Tom's are next, and concerned about him not being here, but I'm going to pass over his and bring him back next time. Helen.
Okay, I have got 3 pictures here, and I want you to tell me what I should have done, because I didn't know what to do. This is a door very much like the one that Bill showed, the
Right.
barn door.
A barn door, so
Is that why you wanted us to remember the door?
Yeah, because it has the apparatus at the top.
Oh, yeah.
It's in a hall in the renovated apartments at Coney Mills in Hall River. The hall was about 5 feet wide. I had a dog with me whose bladder was about to bust. I could do nothing with my Sony, that's a cell phone shot. There's more, of course, up at the top, but it was so dark. And I wanna go back, and I'll try light painting, I'll try anything, but on this, I just wanted to show that this is a door,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mike, I think,
Mike left. The reason I've given you this is to let you know what the next picture is, which is a close-up. See the handle right at the,
right.
and the next one is a close-up of the handle.
Now, Helen, that line going down on the left, the left, is that part of the frame? Is the door frame, or is that part of the door?
Door frame,
The door frame, okay,
what they've done in the renovation
yeah.
it's just absolutely the most interesting place I think I've ever been. The mill was built in 1844 on the hall. in-hall river. And, this is art, this is not hung as a board, this is hung as art. And the pictures that they hung in the halls of the apartment building are wonderful, because they kind of give a history of renovation, which was done by the same people that did DPAC and DMAP.
Wow.
The apartments basically suck, but the
Yeah, the view.
ingenuity and the view and everything about this place is just exquisite. And that door, I want that picture so bad, but there's no hope, I don't think, because it's just, it's too dark.
Did you try, from, painting at like, you know, getting more of the surrounding?
Yeah.
Just curious what that looked like, you know, when you did that.
I was, that cell phone there, in the big camera, with the wall being 5 feet wide, I was back against the wall, couldn't get any,
Can't get it,
I couldn't get it. So,
What about, if you used a wide angle
I
on
think I was
big
at
camera?
17.
Oh, okay, and still you were not able to get as much, yeah.
Yeah.
And strangely, you never forget if you're too close to something, that you can do a panorama. You can take multiple images and
Oh, good point.
bring it together.
Yeah, good point.
In Photoshop Elements, it'll do it just fine.
Because I'm going back, and I'm gonna get that door.
Well, there's even some stitching software that's really easy to use that's free, I think. I have one when we did our panos, and, man, it's great.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
Elements, Affinity,
Yeah.
boom, done.
Yeah. Yeah, you could use a, portrait orientation to get the height, and then you can stitch like four or five of them together.
Or you can do two landscapes, one on top of the other,
Yeah.
and stitching, I mean, it goes all ways. Don't always just think that you're going from
Yeah.
left to right.
It's a good way to do it, yeah.
Because I cropped the top row of
Right.
panels out, I didn't want to show you the mess that I got at the top. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I missed what others would have said, but I think I would have cropped it even more and just called an abstract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what I did on the next one.
Yeah. Did you want me to move to the second one, Helen?
Helped.
What's that?
Underexposing it a little bit might have helped to,
Yeah.
That's great.
thinking that whole big picture would look more like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I like the arrow in the upper left.
Yeah, this is what I ended up as being able to use out of all of my efforts. The dogs that splattered in my face, but that was the trouble, I had no time,
Yeah.
I'm still,
That's,
can't think fast, and I just didn't know what to do, so I picked up this
the
stuff.
colors are great in that.
I love the color,
Are those the original colors, or did you enhance them?
no, I didn't do anything.
Didn't touch it, wow.
So,
Nice.
bring it up.
Is that, did you
I'd
shoot
be
that
interested
in?
to see this little frame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure you need it, but I'd be interested to see a color frame, not white or black.
Yeah.
Because there's even parts of that first image, and like the right-hand bottom side, that by itself could,
No.
Yeah.
could be interesting. If- Just go back one,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still,
might
they
just,
say that more than, that there are many of these, and that some of them are actually in the apartments, so I guess I'll never see those, but this one was in a hall.
Helen, is this raw, and then you didn't do anything with that color? Oh, it's really, it must be super bright.
Yeah.
I did brighten it, I'm sorry, I did have to break.
Oh, okay, you did something.
Yeah, it's so dark, I did brighten it, but this is the color that it was, and this is why it caught my eye. But it just infuriated me that I couldn't get the whole day burn door. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back and try.
No, that's cool.
And this is another one that, what in the heck do you do when you're there at 12 o'clock noon? And
Mhm.
I'm thinking, if I had time, HDR?
Yes.
yeah, it could be the two-shot HDR in the camera, or it could be bracketing and then bringing it together.
What if you put a neutral density filter on, would that help at all, or would that just
Yeah.
change? It would just make it darker and change the,
Yeah, it would just change your settings, but, again, this is one of those things where you can actually underexpose it, just to keep the,
yeah, to keep
the tightness of the darks.
Yeah,
What's that manual adjustment that you can make, you can put it down 2 stops or something like that?
Yeah, the
I've
exposure
used-
compensation.
The exposure compensation, have you ever used that, Helen?
Yes, I did not have it set.
But if you run
you're
it down
shooting-
maybe a couple stops, and then, and see how that would look, then bring it up on them.
because, I always do that, like especially on a bright
Yeah,
day like this, I always put it 200,
200.
because it's easier to bring the darks out, and then you don't have to play around with the lights. They should be exposed properly.
Right.
But I did like this one because.
And where was that?
The buttress, this again is the mill at the law, it's the old cone mill law, cone mill on Hall River.
Oh,
And they obviously had, I call it buttress, they buttress the wall, you built from falling in. The river is probably this far from here to the pavilion. From the side.
well, that looks really similar to, you know, if you've been to Saxe-Baja, the apartments there,
Yeah.
probably similar
Yeah,
age, right, yeah.
yeah. But I was,
Oh, that's where I thought it was.
no,
This is in Haw River, you said?
but, you know, when you put the dog, by this time, it's flat, wasn't gonna bust.
I know what you're talking about, I have my dogs with me a lot.
Yeah, you can't think, it's not even my dog. So I did darken the pine straw there, but it was gonna mess it up if I did it anymore. But I just like the lines,
I love the angles,
yeah.
Yeah,
that brick.
I did the top of, over the windows, I did fix that so that it was floppy jaw. I did do the adjustment on that, but other than that, I gave up.
We have one more, Kathy.
Ooh.
nice.
Yes, ooh.
Ooh.
It's, I was really thrashing around to come up with something.
This is
so-
not trash.
I'm sorry,
This is not trash.
I said thrashing.
Thrashing, oh, okay.
I was taking a lot of, whatever, delete. Anyway, this is, through the portion of the front door window of my sister's house.
Oh, okay.
The red and the pink in the front is bricks
Uh-huh.
on the front porch. And amazingly, the pine needles around the base of the tree came through
Yeah,
pretty much the same color.
nice.
So,
Wow.
there you go.
Really nice colors
This-
in there.
Yeah, this is really swell.
Really nice. For what setting?
It's my cell phone.
This up.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice photo.
That's a nice
Yeah.
photo.
Oh, thank you. There's actually an inset pattern that's a cut glass that's part of the window.
Yeah.
And I took pictures through that, and the cut glass was reflecting these little triangles of pink all through. But I didn't have, there was also a stop sign in the background, and I didn't have time to get that stuff out, so, this was the only thing I could send in that was reasonable. I'll still try to go back and edit out like a car came through at one point,
So
so.
where is that? That window is etched glass, like, that's actually a window?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a portion of the window in the front door of her house.
It's really cool, because to me, it looks like it's made to imitate like a frost edging.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
I know sometimes when you go to a really cold environment, you got that frosting on the glass.
Yeah.
It's nice to shoot through it, and you got it here.
And yet there's like a summer light field behind you.
Yeah, yeah.
For the green tree, yeah.
Yeah,
And I wish it was frosted, but it was like 92 degrees, so
yeah.
That's right, you're not gonna get there yet.
Think frost.
we're gonna have to wait for
You're
that.
just gonna have to throw water on it and spray some nitrogen on there.
There you go.
Then you'll get it.
I love that picture.
Yeah, nice photo, Kathy.
Very
I
pleased.
was
Yeah.
pretty fed up at this point, but anyway, good thing.
Great job.
Yep.
seems that way to me.
It's not clicking for me.
I thought it was an easy one. I mean, there's so many doors and windows around.
Yeah.
I guess the hard thing is to find something that stands out for some reason, like, and what's that reason?
And a lot of times I find it's not that you have a place in mind and you stumble on something,
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
Like,
that's what I do.
yeah,
I'm like, oh,
sometimes you
there
get
it
the
is.
best ones that way.
Yes.
That's why I look with cell phone pictures.
You're right.
Because I'm out walking around like, oh, look.
You have it right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Trained it.
Well,
But I think someone just mentioned, Stephen, maybe that our minds are starting to think of as viewfinders,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and so when you look at everything through that perspective, you know, you get different ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know where the expression came from. I think I probably borrowed it from someplace, but I've used over and over again, ... a way of seeing. So, what's the next test of seeing, Frank?
Children. Uh-oh.
Crap.
Well, I'm going away with my family next week. It's our 50th wedding anniversary, and we're going down to an island in the Bahamas. And two little ones are gonna be there, so I'll get something out of that.
I mean, I don't have any kids at home, of course, and so.
And if you go around shooting pictures of kids.
You got
I was
it.
going to say, I'm really self-conscious of being around
I
kids
know.
on camera. I feel like, you know.
You've got to
You
be
just
careful.
don't wanna do, yeah.
I know, it was down at that little water park down there in, Mosaic, is it? Oh, no, the next one, Chatham.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I took the two little guys down there and they were playing in the water, and there were some kids that were just great, so I asked the parents.
Yes,
I-
yes.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
okay if I include them in on the,
I probably
They said
said
fine.
fine, I read that, I just wanted.
Well, the law is, people have no right to privacy in public. But I think what you're saying is spot on. I mean, never take a picture of a kid that you don't know unless you get permission. I have heard of people that were taking pictures of kids and parents would accost them for doing so.
That's true.
I felt better in the time I was out, because I had two little ones with me, so I'm not some derelict
Yeah.
down there,
Yeah.
you know, photographing kids.
That thing like, 2 weeks ago, with Sue, when she took a picture of that guy, just talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Most people won't care.
People are open, yeah.
Well, there's another way too, and that is shoot from the hip, literally.
Yeah, I've done that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks, really good meeting. Be back on July 2nd. And remember, if you're home and trying to get onto the meeting,
Fly in, yeah.
never mind.
Hang on.